Hey guys, welcome to Living Satisfied. My name is Ellie. If you're new here, welcome. I am gonna just get into it. If you clicked on this video, you know why I am here, and that is to talk about the fact that my dad has passed away. I am not sure how to do this video. I'm gonna do a three-part series. The first one being this one is just gonna be like a general overview, how I'm doing, what's been kind of going on for the past few months. The second video will be about grieving with two little kids. I have a 2.5-year-old and a 1-year-old, and trying to grieve the loss of my dad is not the most fun of processes, and so I just wanted to kind of talk about what's going on there. And then the third one is going to be moving forward, what is grieving looking like for me and my family, and I don't know how things are going to move forward. So let's get started with this video. My dad was diagnosed August of 2017 with acute lymphoblastic leukemia, which is ALL. Most commonly, ALL is seen in kids. When you hear that kids have leukemia, a lot of times it's that type of leukemia. My dad passed away late May of 2018, and so he, for 9 months, battled cancer, and it was a very humbling experience for our whole family. My dad handled it with such grace and strength, and just a love for God, and showed his faith with God, and it was a very just unbelievable way for a man to pass away. You really couldn't have asked for, I don't know, I want to say for a better way. I mean, obviously there's better ways to pass away, but the journey that we went on for the last 9 months, we just felt God's love and grace, and our community just wrapped around us the whole time. And it was pretty remarkable. I'll kind of jump forward. The first couple months he was in Nashville, that's where we live, and he was more often than not in the hospital. It was complicated because he couldn't be with kids under the age of 4, and so I had my daughter a week and a half before he was diagnosed. Like, she was an itty-bitty week-and-a-half old baby when he was diagnosed, so he really only held her maybe 2 or 3 times total in her life. And like I said, he couldn't be around kids under the age of 4 just because they're just little germ carriers. And so for the entire duration of him being sick, it made things really complicated for me to go see him. I always had to have childcare to go see him. A lot of times he was in the hospital, and so that just kind of complicates things, and it's expensive to get childcare, and family's not always available to watch. And so it was a very interesting season. In January, he was sent down to Houston, MD Anderson in Houston, their cancer research hospital. The reason why he was sent down there is because while his during his stay in Nashville at Sarah Cannon, they got control of most of the ALL leukemia cancer cells, which was great. And then they found AML, which is acute myeloid leukemia. And at that point, they were like, you need to go down to Houston. Like, there's not much else we can do. It's kind of like last resort. Like, you need to go down to MD Anderson today. Like, they got the call, and that night they flew out to Houston. Like, it was that quick. They're like, my parents didn't know how long they were going to be there for, and so like they rushed around, packed what they could, and they were off. And it was really quite scary. And just you know, they have a house here, they have a dog here. My mom has a full-time job here. You know, obviously my dad hadn't been working for the last, you know, few months, but you know, my mom works full-time, and all of a sudden she's having to go down to Houston for they don't know how long. So it was a very big hustle bustle. His stay in MD Anderson was great. The care that they received was amazing. I'll post some pictures throughout if I haven't already posted a few pictures of his stay there. We did get to visit him once. Again, it's really hard to visit someone with cancer, especially out of state with little kids. And so my in-laws luckily watched my oldest son, but my daughter is still little. She was still nursing full-time, and she wasn't taking bottles. She has latch issues. It's just a whole thing. And so we did take her down, and my husband and I and my mom took turns taking care of baby Claire, where my mom was staying at a little hotel area, and just kind of rotated through for the weekend, which was really nice to see him. And then fast forward a little bit more, and we late May, let's fast forward a little bit more. So he got his stem cell transplant. His cancer cells were low enough to where they felt okay giving him the transplant. He had a 10 out of 10 donor, which is like awesome. That does not always happen. My brothers and I all got tested to see if we would be a donor match for him, and we were, I think me and one of my brothers were 7 out of 10. My oldest brother, I think, was an 8 out of 10, and I think my Aunt Lynn was a 9 out of 10 or something. Like, so he had tons of options, which is not common to have. But he had lots of options for stem cell, and even a 7 out of 10 they said was like actually a really good match, and which doesn't sound good, but they were able to find a 10 out of 10. We have no idea who that person was. They just graciously donated. You can go to I'll put a website down below if you want to. I think it's called bethematch.com. If you want to sign up. The process of giving bone marrow these days is not near as like invasive and intense as it used to be. It's actually like, it's just a week-long process. It's kind of like getting a really long blood draw. Like if you're like giving blood, it's kind of like that, or giving like plasma, but it like takes quite a few hours to do it, but it's not painful or anything like that. So if you're interested, check down below. So he did get that. It seemed to go pretty well. They were pretty hopeful. Most of the cancer cells were cleared, but then things just stopped working. He got some fairly common he did have some fairly common like reactions and things like that, like graft versus host, like blisters and like burning pains in his hands and feet and things like that. But most of the stuff that he felt were all like within like normal range, just really uncomfortable and not fun. He had like a lot of like throat pain for a few days, which again is common. It's just, you know, the way that a stem cell transplant works is just insane. Like, it is crazy. I mean, you're literally changing your DNA to someone else's DNA. Like, it's an amazing process. After that point, he contracted pneumonia. And at that point, things just never really got any better. Throughout this whole process of him having cancer, it was a very, very up and down thing, which I feel like was good and bad. It really was like something good would happen, like whether with him or like just something in life would like really good would happen, and then something bad would happen, and then something good would happen, and then something bad would happen. Like the whole 9 months was like that, at least for like me and my husband and our family. It was a very like polarizing time in our life, and when my dad, at the very end, like I said, he contracted pneumonia. It just never went away, and they were never able to really control it. I think he technically got pneumonia twice, but it just never really went away. And so at one point, his cancer cells started to grow back. He went from having just a small percentage, and then the next day it was doubled. And then the next day it had doubled. And the type of cancer that he had is just so incredibly aggressive. Hence why they sent him down to MD Anderson like they did and did the things that they did. Is it was just so aggressive, that even the doctors at MD Anderson, that are the top doctors, oncologists in the whole world, like this is like one of the top hospitals in the whole world, were stumped. Like they didn't really know what to do for him. There was one point they're like, we don't really know what type of leukemia that you have. It's kind of like this, but then it acts like this, but then it has these qualities, but it's not this. We're calling it this. And we're just like, what? like you guys are the best in the world. Like, how do we not know what this is? And but cancer's cancer, and there's not much you can do about it. So we eventually, when his cancer cells started doubling, we got the unfortunate news that he was not gonna make it. And that day, my husband was working from home, and he came upstairs, and my mom called. She was like, is Jay up there? And I was like, yes. Why? And she was like, your dad's not gonna make it. And it was like, what? like this whole 9 months, like what was it for? Like, why did he suffer for 9 months with this? And why was there so much hope in the 9 months just to be given the response that like they've done all that they can? The doctor that broke the news to my mom told her, he was like, if it was my family, like I would let him go. Like, there's not anything that we can do. He wasn't strong enough to have more chemo, more medications. Like, his body was done. And I just lost it. And you know, I have the 2 kids, and Jay's up there, and I just went outside and I just bawled. I got off the phone with her because you know, she had to do other phone calls and break the news to other parts of our family. And I'm the type of person that it's a flight or, you know, the fight or flight response. Like, I run. Like, that is my response. Like, I just want to get out. I just need to process by myself. Like, I want people around, like, for like safety and comfort, but like I don't want to be touched. Like, I don't want to be hugged. Like, I just need to figure this out. And I actually ended up running to church, which is, I don't know why I ran there, but I did. And I told my husband, I was like, please take the kids, and I don't know, I'll be back. And it was perfect. Like, all I wanted was God. My parents weren't in town. My husband's amazing, but like, I didn't want him. Like, I just wanted God in some capacity to show me that it was gonna be okay. And so I ran to church, and you know, I went to the secretary, and I was like, hey, it's like, you know, either the pastor's here, and naturally they weren't. And I was like, okay, well, is this person here? And they're like, yeah, they're up at the ministry house. And I was like, okay. Like, I probably freaked her out. but it wasn't the people that I like expected to run to or process with, but it ended up like the perfect people. Like it was two people from church who have had their own like real like solid losses, like very hard losses, and God just showed me so much love in those moments, and it was just perfect. I don't know. I processed with them for a little bit, and I went home and just kind of vegged out for the next few days. I know this video is going long. I'm trying not to ramble too much. But then my dad, so my dad was life flighted home within 2 days, which apparently it normally takes like up to a week or two. But they wanted to put him into hospice, and obviously he wanted to go home. Like he didn't want to pass away in Houston. Like, I mean, who would want to pass away in a city that's not home? And so we were just so blessed to get him home. I'll put some pictures of like the tiny little plane that he was in, and it was like my mom's worst nightmare. He did it. But again, God, there's supposed to be a bunch of storms and turbulence, and God just like smoothed the flight for them, and like literally stopped the rain for them, so they could land and get him home. After he got home, he was at home, I'm trying to think of how long it was, maybe a week, not even a week. It was pretty quick. My task when they were in the process of heading home was to find hospice care and find a caregiver, because he was not able to stand up anymore, and so that meant that we needed help with like changing you know, his diapers and things like that, and keep him comfortable. And you know, my dad's not a huge guy, but I mean, he's still a man, and my mom and I, who are not, you know, the strongest of women, you know, we needed help. And my dad also just didn't want us to have to do it. He didn't want us having to you know, pick him up and change his diapers and things like that. You know, he didn't want us to have to do that kind of stuff. And ouch, big scratch on my ankle, that hurts. And while, I mean, we were of course more than happy to do it. I mean, it's family, it's my dad, like more than happy to. He just, you know, you want to give him as much dignity as possible in these last few days. So we were able to find caregivers. It was a hot mess on the phone trying to talk to people. I've never done this before. Like, I've never had to find a hospice care so quickly, and it's like, we don't know how long he's gonna make it. Like, it could be very, very quickly, very, very quick. And my dad, at first, he didn't want to pass away in the home. He wanted to go to respite care, and so it was just a whirlwind trying to get care. But we got the care that we needed. He came home, and it was some of the best time I think that we've had together as a family when he got home. It was just like, my brother, my oldest brother, wrote, we had a Caring Birds page for him, which is kind of like a blog for these kind of situations, and my brother put it perfectly. He was like, this was the best day of my life. Like, a few days before he passed, everyone was there. Like, all of the family came in that could, and at the end, you know, it was his parents, and it was his sister and brother-in-law, his nieces, and their husbands and family from that side. It was a very, very full house, but there was so much like joy and grieving and laughter and tears, like it was everything. Like we went swimming, we hung out, all the kids like played at his feet essentially. You know, he wasn't able to like engage really, but they were like all there. We all just like were telling stories and laughing, and like I haven't laughed that much in so long, and it was just one of the best ways that you could spend the end of your life. Like what a blessing to be surrounded by your family who love you. You know, there's no arguments that went on. Like it was just like what families should be. And I don't know, I think this video is getting incredibly long, but I want to remember this stuff, and I hope that by posting this, like I can save this in my archives and just kind of remember some of what happened, and also just share with you guys, like anyone who's lost their dad recently or lost a loved one in general. I mean, it's all kind of the same. And I just want to say at the end, like, God is good and gracious and kind if you open up the space to let him be. I think in the process of grieving, there's a lot of anger, a lot of denial, a lot of frustration, and those are all good and right feelings to have, and you have to feel those things. You have to be mad, you have to go through those emotions, because the life ending is not fair. But at the same time, you know, my dad put it perfectly in that, like, he won the race. Like, it's not that the race ended for him, it's that, like, he's gone on to, you know, as a Christian, it's like he's gone on to like succeed. Like, this world is not the end point. Like, our life and eternity with Christ is the end. And like, what a blessing to be able to seek after God your whole life and be able to leave this earth and go do that. I don't know what that looks like. I don't know what heaven looks like or anything, but you know, I do believe in a God, and I do believe in heaven and eternity with Christ, and I don't know, but thank you for watching this incredibly long video. I'm sorry that it's so long. I just needed to get this out, get it posted. I want to start posting more. Like, I say that every single time that I post something, but it's been a really long time since I've posted. So thank you for watching. Please stay tuned to my other videos on grieving. I'm not going to do a ton of videos on grieving. I know that that's not necessarily what people want to see. If it is something you want to see, let me know in the comments down below, or give this video a thumbs up. Otherwise, I'll just do the 3 videos and continue on sharing the fun life that I have with my kids, my family. But thank you guys for listening, and I know that I'm not alone in the grieving process. Everyone grieves at some point, and I hope that if you are grieving and you're watching this video, that you know that you are loved and cared for. Yeah, I will see you guys later. Bye. And grieving and laughter and tears, like, it was everything. Like, we went swimming, we hung out, all the kids like played at his feet essentially. You know, he wasn't able to like engage really, but they were like all there. We all just like were telling stories and laughing, and like I haven't laughed that much in so long, and it was just one of the best ways that you could spend the end of your life. Like, what a blessing to be surrounded by your family who love you. You know, there's no arguments that went on. Like, it was just like what families should be. And And I don't know, I think this video is getting incredibly long, but I want to remember this stuff, and I hope that by posting this, like, I can save this in my archives, and just kind of remember some of what happened, and also just share with you guys, like, anyone who's lost their dad recently or lost a loved one in general. I mean, it's all kind of the same. And I just want to say at the end, like, God is good, and gracious and kind if you open up the space to let him be. I think in the process of grieving, there's a lot of anger, a lot of denial, a lot of frustration, and those are all good and right feelings to have, and you have to feel those things. You have to be mad, you have to go through those emotions, because the life ending is not fair. But at the same time, you know, my dad put it perfectly in that, like, he won the race. Like, it's not that the race ended for him, it's that, like, he's gone on to, you know, as a Christian, it's like he's gone on to, like, succeed. Like, this world is not the end point. Like, our life and eternity with Christ is the end. And, like, what a blessing to be able to seek after God your whole life and be able to leave this earth and go do that. I don't know what that looks like. I don't know what heaven looks like or anything, but you know, I do believe in a God, and I do believe in heaven and eternity with Christ, and I don't know, but thank you for watching this incredibly long video. I'm sorry that it's so long. I just needed to get this out, get it posted. I want to start posting more. Like, I say that every single time that I post something, but it's been a really long time since I've posted. So thank you for watching. Please stay tuned to my other videos on grieving. I'm not going to do a ton of videos on grieving. I know that that's not necessarily what people want to see. If it is something you want to see, let me know in the comments down below, or give this video a thumbs up. Otherwise, I'll just do the 3 videos and continue on sharing the fun life that I have with my kids, my family. But thank you guys for listening, and I know that I'm not alone in the grieving process. Everyone grieves at some point, and I hope that if you are grieving and you're watching this video, that you know that you are loved and cared for. Yeah, I will see you guys later. Bye.